Today I'll show you how to build a simple video call app for iOS using Zegocloud's UIKits. You won't need to write any backend code or complicated UI. If you're wondering what Zegocloud is, it's a service that provides what they call UIKits, which provides pre-built UI layers and call kits that bundles the logic and the UI so you can add video or voice calling with minimal code. The pre-built UIKits give you call screens, layouts, and common call functions out of the box, and you can configure or customize them however you need. This makes building prototypes or production apps way faster, and Zegocloud is sponsoring this video. So the first thing we're gonna do is open the Zegocloud.com website over here, and you're gonna see what type of products they have. Here you can see that they have video call, voice call, live streaming, SDKs, and more. And you're going to register and make an account. And you can register using the 10,000 free minutes trial, which is perfect to test your apps before launching. And once you register, you'll see the admin console. So over here, I already have an account, so I'm just gonna go to my account over here. And as you can see, I've already used some of my free minutes over here. And on the left sidebar here, you can see and access analytics, usage, and billing information. So now what we can do is create a new project. So I'm gonna click create new project here. And you're going to see that they offer many different things that you can use in your own apps, like voice and video call, video conference, live streaming, and more, right? For this project, we're gonna go with voice and video call. So I'm gonna pick this and I'm gonna scroll down and click next. Then you're gonna name the project. So I'm just gonna call it Zego Call App. And we're gonna go with UIKits here. So if we click on iOS, you can only see a few lines of code used, which is perfect, right? So we're gonna click start with UIKits. And this will take a few seconds to create the project for you. Then you're going to pick and choose that we're gonna build the app for iOS, right? So you can click for iOS here. Now over here on the right side, you can customize your configuration and select features based on your needs. So for this project, I'm just gonna leave it as it is, one-on-one call and call invitation, and we're just gonna leave this as it is. Then I'm gonna scroll down and click save here. So over here, you're gonna get your app ID, which is a number, and then your app sign, which is a randomly generated string. So I'm not gonna show them on the screen here, but you would need to copy those and use them in your app, which you're gonna see later in the video. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna click quick start here so we can access the documentation we're going to follow. And over here, you have prepare the environment. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we have Xcode 15 or higher version and use iOS 12 as well or higher version. And obviously you would need the iOS device to be connected to the internet. And before we continue following the documentation, we're going to go ahead and create the Xcode project. So I'm gonna go over here and open up Xcode, and we're gonna create a new project over here. And as you can see, version 26 of Xcode, right? So create new project, and we're gonna go with app over here. And I'm just gonna call this Zego Call App as well. And we're gonna choose storyboard here and Swift, and we're just gonna click next. And I'm just gonna add it to this folder. Cool, so now we have Xcode set up. So we can go ahead and close this. And the next thing we're gonna do is install the dependencies to the project. So what we're gonna do is go back to the documentation and you're gonna see what they're asking us to do. We're gonna open the terminal, navigate to the project's root directory. So let's do this. So go to terminal, and then let's go to Finder as well at the same time. We're just gonna go here, and then where we saved the project, we're gonna do CD over here, and then we're just gonna drag and drop the project, right? And then we're gonna do pod init, which will create the pod file for us. And you'll see it happen over here. So there you go, now you have a pod file. And let's go back to the documentation. We're gonna need to edit the pod file. So to do that, we can just do nano pod file, and this will allow us to edit the file. We're gonna change the iOS platform to 12 because that was the requirement, and we're gonna add the line of code over here. And then we need to make sure we save this, so we're gonna do Control O, and then we're gonna click return, and then we're gonna exit by clicking Control X. And now to make sure it actually saved, we can just go back, and as you can see, it's still there. So we can just do Control X again. And now we haven't actually installed the dependencies yet. So what we're gonna do is follow this and run pod install. And this will install all the dependencies we need. And over here in the terminal, we can clear things out. Now, one thing to note is that we can go ahead and open up the workspace file here and not the Xcode project, right? So let's go ahead and open this up. And the next thing we're going to need to do is add all the required permissions and capabilities that we need in this app, right? So let's open this up and go call app, and let's go to the info, and over here, let's go back to the documentation. We can scroll down and you'll see what they're asking us to add. So you can just copy the first one, which is camera usage description. And you can just click on the plus here and then add it. And then for the string over here, we're just gonna add this one and copy it as well. And now we're gonna do the same thing for the microphone. Let's copy this. Now that we added this, we can just go to the root directory here and then go to signing in capabilities. And as you can see, you have the camera and microphone over here. And if you plan to support background audio or push notifications, we're gonna need to add and enable the related capabilities over here. So we're just gonna click capability and then background mode. And then we're just gonna do push notifications as well. And then for background modes, we're gonna check off audio and then remote notifications and voice over IP. Now, before we start coding, let's run the code for the first time and see what happens. And I'm just gonna change the simulator to, let's say, iPhone 17. And now let's set this up correctly. So as you can see here, we're running into some sandbox error. So if you run into this issue, you can go ahead and go to build settings. And we're just gonna search user script. And then here, user script sandboxing is gonna fix the issue when we set it to no. And let's just run it again now and see if it works. All right, as you can see, it's working. And now let's wait for the simulator. So now it's running and nothing is supposed to show up on the screen. So now let's actually get started with the code. We can go to view controller. And as you can see, we have nothing yet here. We're going to copy the same code in the description. So let's go up here and I'm just going to copy everything. And we're just gonna put it right here for a second and then copy the function. And then we're just gonna copy these two. We're just gonna keep the view.load function, of course. And we can delete this. And then Control I to fix everything. Cool. And of course, we're gonna change multiple things. First, let's change the variables here. For the user ID, we're just gonna generate a random integer, so string, and then format. So this is gonna be D, and then int.random, and the range 0 to, let's say, 99999. And for the username, we're just gonna have it optional, and then we're gonna assign it in the view.load function. And as for the call ID, we wouldn't need this right now. We're just gonna set the app ID here, which is gonna be an int. And we're just gonna set it to 0 now. But this is gonna be essentially the number you get from your account. And same thing for your app sign. This is going to be an empty string, but of course here you need to add your own app sign. Then we're going to create a list of sessions, and you're gonna see why in this video. So list of strings, we're just gonna give them numbers. Let's say 300. Let's say 500, 400, and 500. And now because we're gonna list all those sessions, we can just create a table view. right? And for now, we're just gonna ignore those errors and we're gonna fix them later. But the next thing we're gonna do is assign a value to the username. So username is gonna be user_user ID. And let's finish up the table view. Self table view dot data source is also self, right? And then let's apply everything needed here. Cool. And then those two functions will go right here. So the first one is the number of rows. So it's just going to be return sessions.count. Then we're going to fill each row with some information. So let's create the cell. Let's cell UI table. And then let's do the style. And over here, we're just going to do subtitle. And we're just going to call it cell over here. And then let's define an ID. This is just going to be the sessions index path dot row. And now we're going to add a text for the session ID. So cell.textLabel dot text equals session ID. And we're going to put the ID right here. And we're going to add another text here, which is going to be detail. And we're just going to say tap to join. And we're going to add a disclosure indicator here. So accessory type, disclosure indicator. And then, of course, we're going to return the self. Now let's go to the storyboard and attach the table view. Cool, so I'm just going to click on the plus here in table view. Cool, so let's center this. You can just do it like this. Okay, that looks good. And now let's just open up another window on the side. And what you're going to do is go to the view controller and just click here. And now what we're going to do is just click on this and then hold control and then just link it to this outlet. Okay, so now we're good here. We can just close the storyboard now. Now we need to actually join the call whenever we tap on a table view row, right? So we're gonna need another function here. It's just gonna be the same table view. And then instead of cell for row at, we're just gonna do did select. Row at index path, and then specify the type. And then here, we're gonna pass down the call ID. So let's do call ID. It's just gonna be the same as we did here. So what we're gonna do here is pass down the call ID to the make new call function, which allows users joining with the same call ID to end up in the same room, right? Now, of course, here we haven't added this session ID here, so we're just gonna do that. And we're gonna pass down the string. So this one-on-one video call function gives you a ready configuration for a one-on-one video. And you can also adjust for gallery and group calls with other configurations. And over here, you need to pass down your app ID, your app sign, which we already did. And we're just gonna do the self, the user ID here, and username. And then if there's no username, it's just gonna be empty. And then instead of the call ID, we're just gonna do session ID because we're passing it down from here. And then this should be good. So, and this is giving us an error because we need to import this. And something is missing over here, which is cool. And that's pretty much it for the code. Let's go ahead and run this app to see it in action. The first thing we're going to do is run it on the first simulator. So let's just run it here. So as you can see 5 sessions here, right? And then let's stop to see if it works. So as you can see the buttons over here, so we can just end the call. But it's not working because we haven't added the app ID and app sign, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna do this off the screen. So let's scroll down here. So I just copied my app ID and app sign. So you need to do the same on your side, and then let's run it again now and see what happens. Let's just join session ID 400. So now you can see it's different than before. Before it was just all black, now it's all gray, and you can see the user ID at the bottom right over here. And I'm just gonna go and close the voice, right? And the reason you're seeing a gray screen is because I'm using a simulator. If you wanna actually see a video, you can just run it on your own physical device. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna run another simulator. So let's actually do this. Instead of iPhone 17, I'm just gonna say let's go with iPhone 17 Pro Max. So let's run this. So now we're running iPhone 17 Pro Max and iPhone 17 at the same time. So let's go back actually here. Let's just stay in the app while this is running. So it's now running on the iPhone 17 Pro Max as well. Let's go to the session 200 from the iPhone 17. So as you can see, we're still alone in here, right? So there's no one else. And if I go into the iPhone 17 Pro Max and go to the same session, you're gonna see that there's now 2 users over here. And let's just turn off the audio. So now we're actually in a call together. And now let's go ahead and end the call in here. And let's go to session ID 100. And you're gonna see that there's no one in this call. But what if I end this call and join him? Then it's gonna be 2 people again in the same call. And as I said, you can also use your physical devices if you actually want to see a video running and use the audio as well. And that's pretty much it for this video. You can now build a working video call app using Zegocloud's UIKits. So links to documentation and where to sign up for 10,000 free minutes are in the description. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you want more videos like this one.